Let me go ahead and do this video, that I promised y'all. I wanted to do it early this morning. I know I did that other video as an emergency, but it got really, really serious. I've been getting fucked with by that wetback motherfucker really, really bad. Really, really bad towards the point of that. And with that being said, my neck and all, it's too much shit that's going on around me spiritually. Anyways, with that being said, let me try to remember what I need to remember. That was very, very scary in the spirit plane. Early this morning to nearly succumb to my debt. I heard, just like I heard with Santa Muerte, who I'm going to be doing an article about later on, about, the dangers of her, why she shouldn't exist in the spirit plane. Like I say, before ad nauseum, the problem with her is she's a thought form. And like I'm experiencing with Maria Tavares, her followers, through, she has to claim to their higher selves to have any need to her, act as judge, jury, and executioner. And because she controls the Mexican oversoul consciousness, I ain't got shit to fear. My gods are the voodoo gods, Baron Samedi and all that, the marionette, Oshun, Yemeya, Aludamare, looks exactly like, reminiscent of the demiurge, got skin of bronze, hair of wool. That's the god of everybody else who's black, which is why we're so envied. Santa Muerte, through her, well, not really, her followers, through her, because she's a taupe, a thought form, can come and just snatch them people up out their bodies through their consciousness anytime she wants, anytime they want, for any arbitrary one-time reason whatsoever. Like I say, the worst Baron Samedi saw was a 2-year-old child trapped in her hell realm. A rape victim who, on the eve when she was about to report her rapist, she was a Mexican. She got pulled into Santa Muerte's hell realm and was stuck in the, it's something where, and I've seen and experienced it myself while I was staying at the YMCA shelter on, I'm being almost made to forget, Glendale. Nah, it's Avalon Boulevard, where you're stuck in her skull face, where it's, sludge and grudge and murky and all of that. With that being said, that's a very dangerous entity to have over you because she works through people's imagination. She has no thoughts, no consciousness of her own because she never existed. Baron Samedi existed, like Oshun existed, Ogun, Alun, Osain, who's very good for putting you back together if you find yourself in a situation like this, Obatala. And I want to mention something as well. If you ever have issues with putting yourself back together, get yourself anything dealing with the Pharaoh. It goes back, and my Egyptian Cometian ancestors were trying to show me one night the reason why the Pharaoh's head was placed on the pyramids and tombs of ancient Kemet is because they had technology in there. A lot of stuff going on they didn't want the people to see, and something to that effect. And they were trying to explain something about crystals, quartz crystals having ions that allows for conducive travel. Woo. Anyways, with that being said, that's why, and you can petition God for this, she needs to be taken out the spirit plane, like I'm experiencing right now. She nearly pulled me out of my body. I was told by them roach spirits and all of that, that the sign of an incarnated God is that I was able to whip her ass. She tried coming from my mother. She tried coming from my father, who I've seen numerous times. She tried to come for, and she got shut down. With that being said, you can petition God to remove her. And that actually happened. And I want to, elaborate more on this. That, I've been wanting to post a video talking about that timeline, but spiritually I keep getting, blocked and cumbered. That's the problem with her. You can, I'm trying to remember exactly what I wanted to say. I've been wanting to talk about the soul swap, show a video showing that. But anyways, with that being said, what was I going with that? Actually happened in the August the 21st or 22nd, 2022 timeline where I got soul swapped and taken out of my body. With that being said, I'm being made to forget because I'm being fucked with by that Maria Tavares, and I'm trying to come up with solutions to get rid of her, and it's a lot to try to figure out. But anyways, I really need to get rid of that Maria Tavares. Over the weekend, I saw straight up in the spirit plane that she had the reason why I brought up that timeline is because I remember, and I wanted to, I couldn't continue Astral World because my consciousness was getting fucked with so bad. In that August the 20, going back then, when I was in jail, it was starting in June 2022 or something. And I swear I was in there for 3 months, June, July, August. So yeah, that would make sense. My sense of, I was never great at math, and my sense of counting shit ain't that great. I got out, I think. Anyways, with that being said, I remember my parents astral projecting and ended up in the Roach Room, and I believe this is representative of it. I trapped in a Roach Motel hell realm from which they couldn't escape. And so with that being said, from what I understand, they haven't gotten out. And I saw Maria Tavares. I heard, she had almost all of my timelines. And I was able to use 3002 hertz to get it back. Her and Santa Muerte were stealing a lot from me. I remember hearing Santa Muerte discuss with Baron Samedi about stealing our stuff, stealing my and his ancestral money. With that being said, I gotta do something about this Maria Tavares, and I've been trying to get on it ever fucking since. All of this evil ass shit that's going on in my consciousness, and trying to fight this wetback bitch off. All this her. She nearly, like a couple of days ago, she took over so much of my consciousness to the point where I don't know if I'm conversing with my spirit guides or hers. And it's getting, scarily confused. And at one point, she had placed my soul consciousness in Santa Muerte. That's how I almost got trapped into a realm. I was able to fight her off. She used a bunch of people as well to do that. With that being said, let me continue on. I've been, getting help and all of that. That's why I got to figure out what the fuck to do in this situation, because it's getting to the point where I can't tell if it's her or anything else. Anyways, the road spirits, they were giving me good advice on something. I wish I would have took it. Make a long story short, like a parasitic viral fucking this is an evil wetback ass bitch. I kept hearing her, say through her soul consciousness and all of that. I think it's Isla something. I gotta write it down. All right. With that being said, I'm so sick of this shit with this evil shit. Anyways, with that being said, that's an evil motherfucker. It's very true when I speak about, as I write, that May the 1st, 2024 timeline. Where basically, like I say, something happened. I even feel it right now. I heard I'm in my spirit body before astral bodies. Something ain't right. I saw a reflection of the Grim Reaper 2 weeks later and all of that. Them people at that shop, 8704 Broadway Street by 87 and Broadway in LA, they did something. With that being said, I kept hearing her say, I want to be rich. I want her and her parents as a sacrifice, going back to that August 21st, 22nd, 2022 timeline. And as I explained before, I saw my parents. And my father in that timeline had turned into a giant. Because he, it's been a year or less, was no longer human, couldn't cope with it. With that being said, he was half roach when I saw him. And my mother had roach bites all over her. So, like I say, while I was in jail, I heard the master projecting at one point get trapped in the hell realm. And I thought after 2 weeks after I had gotten out of jail, I had released him and gotten him out. With that being said, that's an evil, it's the reader who I got a reading from at that shop on, I just named 8704 Broadway, by 87 and Broadway, out in South Central LA. That's an evil motherfucker. That's a sadistic motherfucker. That was the most evil ass motherfucking thing. Um, she stole after my ancestors, including Marie Laveau. Oh, this one I wanted to mention. I saw the Grim Reaper's reflection 2 weeks later. Something happened to me. And it's at them people's hands. And from what I understand, in that timeline, going back to May the 1st, 2024, they're doing very, very well with tarot readings. The woman who gave me the reading, Solano or Solanas, I think it's not Inez, but it's some Scandinavian type name, Elsie Serrano, Solana. She's doing very well as a maid, making a lot of money, doing extremely well. And from what I understand, it's at the benefit of me being the sacrifice. Them sacrificing me to Santa Muerte. With that being said, that's an evil motherfucker. I saw the reality of my parents the other night. When I was using something, frequency, to call on ancestors, my parents showed up as ancestors from that timeline. So the shit is real. The shit is mad motherfucking real. And they were summoned, woken from out the roach room, which I didn't know they were still in. I thought I had woke them out. With that being said, I see 7 of Cups. With that being said, I saw them come as part of the call of ancestors to help me out, ironically, when I should be helping them. From what I understand, they got pulled out of a roach realm, a roach motel hell realm, that they were stuck in for a long time, for a year or 2 years, if you know, because that was 2022. And in one, Maria Tavares has my dad here, Napoleon Williams Jr. reduced down to little than his soul consciousness, to nothing. Same with my mother and her highest self, who was helping me. You know, I remember her and my grandmother Dorothy were trying to help me at one point. With that being said, that's a terrible fate, you know, to endure. And so after her and a couple of other people, including this guy here who I heard molested a child, an 11-year-old, I think his name Tomas or something, or Manuel or Juan, or one of them average Mexican names. They took my father from that August 22nd, August 23rd, 2022 timeline and eviscerated him and killed him. And I was trying to use 3517 hertz to revive him, and because she'd be fucking with my frequency and all that, I was having a hard time doing it. But that's an evil motherfucking wetback bitch. That it's enough to make you, even though I try to be logical. Look, I'm an equal opportunity racist. Used to wear a nice shirt, MAGA hat on the PCH, just being, but that bitch is enough almost to make you want to, because that's some, going back to Miracle Malus, mainly, from what I understand, wetbacks that put this on me or were making fun. I remember making fun of this whole curse, first befalling me back in 2016 when I had a lot of shit coming for me, supposed to have come for me. And instead, I even saw it in a vision one night, from what I understand, when stuff like that happens, you're shown visions of how your life is going to go down. And I was shown welfare office, homeless shelters, meanwhile, like them women here, tropical beaches, mansions, helipads, from what I was told they have in that timeline and all, I was warned, I was shown I would end up with nothing. And that's exactly what happened. And end up a sacrifice for other people to come up, including Zendaya. She was supposed to go the route unless she signed a deal with the Illuminati in that timeline or something, from what I heard. Hear her mama wearing the Baphomet shirt. Make a deal with him so she could come up. If she didn't, she would be hitting the tracks on Fig and all of that. That would have been her fate. And just like them other people, you speak for here. Well, just like them other people, anyways, placed their karma on me. Anyways, put their karma on me. With that being said, I gotta fight for survival every single fucking night. This is a shame, and overthink what I can say with all the evil shit I got going on is primarily because of Tavares. With that being said, I saw my parents were fucked up by these people. With my dad's soul consciousness gone and all of that, you know, one of them I heard, you know, was Prisoner Pipeline. That's what I wanted to mention. And instead, you know, I got their fate, but it was made to where it wasn't that bad. It wasn't going to be that bad. I got all these energy vampires feeding off of me and taking my shit, but I'm supposed to cling to them to, you know, use my shit and really, you know, get my shit back ultimately. But that shit's real. And when I saw that my parents stuck in hell rooms as my ancestors, that really fucked me up. And that fucked me up big time. You gotta do something about this whole situation. This Tavares is the worst. Like I say, she keeps trying to pull me into hell realms, and I felt it. And it's one of the scariest things you can ever feel. You know, I'm feeling the spirit plane right now. I ain't got no spiritual assistance because of all these evil ass motherfuckers feeding off of me, and I'm trying to figure out what to do. I'm the one with the power and all of that, the Baron Samedi and all of that, and I need to figure out what to do. I feel like I'm being manipulated by Maria Tavares, but I gotta get rid of that evil ass bitch. Again, it goes back to that May the 1st, 2024 timeline. I know that shit's real too. But that killed me to see my parents stuck in hell realms and her boasting. I need hell. Yeah, I killed them off. I did it again. I hate you. Yeah, I kill your nigga parents. Woo, woo, woo. You know, it's like one of mine that was talking about, you know, from what I understand, you know, killed a young black sex worker. I lost a lot of my consciousness that night. I can't You know, from what I understand, I'm too powerful, I'm too smart. My shit shouldn't be getting taken by the fucking people. I'm just trying to decide what the fuck to do. Something got to be done. I almost had my whole soul consciousness taken the other night by this Maria Tavares. And she almost dominated my entire consciousness. With that being said, in the obstacle position, we got Judgment. Oh, I wanted to mention about Zendaya. From what I understand, her fate was supposed to be, you know, instead of sacrificing herself like Beyonce and all of them did to the Illuminati, she used me, an incarnated God or something, he came to make me a sacrifice or some shit like that. Anyways, in the obstacle position, we got Judgment. And I feel like you're making steps to rectify stuff, and even though you have, you know, setbacks, you're doing the right thing. Ace of Swords. I feel that you're in the place where you're able to get a lot of help and abetment and have folks make things right for you. Future position, Seven of Cups. I feel that you're going to get wish fulfillment. You follow down the right path. No, even though it's hard and arduous, you're going to get what you want. Subconscious, Three of Swords. I feel that you know you're suffering loss, but it's for a greater purpose, a greater good. Six of Pentacles. That's your goal position, and I see you ultimately overcoming a lot of adversity, a lot of problems. And you're going to get what you want. Four of Pentacles. That's the advice card. Something is telling you to be smart in how you move. Don't, you know, like the song goes by TLC, don't go chasing waterfalls. Waterfalls. I sounded British. Page of Wands. Anyways, with that being said, we got, for the energy that's all around you, we got a lot of people, I feel, that sees that you're not in the greatest of places, and they want to keep you down. The world. You're going to come to a place where your fears in your host card, the world. I feel that you fear making sudden movements, you know, quick, you know, movements made on a whim. And to be very careful. King of Wands. That's the ultimate card. I feel that you come into a place where I feel that you come into a place where you're going to be successful. You have to walk to your own drum in order to find success. With that being said, if you want a more personalized tarot reading, please contact me at ravenbytarot22@yahoo.com. This is a fucking shame.